her prize. But Lin bumps into something and causes a loud clatter. One of the guards, confused by Lin's sudden appearance, barely reacts before she drops him with a frying pan. The princess moves fast, helping the servant escape and leaving 3 guards against the 2 of them. In the kitchen, everything becomes a weapon. Pots, vegetables, water, even rags. The princess takes down one, Lin another. 1 guard remains. He lunges through the air, but never lands. Moira's whip lashes around his ankle and yanks him backward, crashing him into the floor. It's a dramatic entrance. Moira doesn't attack immediately. She speaks first, mocking the princess, saying all of this chaos could have been avoided if she had just played the weak, helpless role expected. Her whip gives her reach and power, striking without risk. The princess and Lin struggle to close the gap. Then things turn worse. The whip snaps around the princess's neck and Moira starts choking the life out of her. But Lin won't back down. She fights through and finally frees the princess, then creates a barrier of fire between them and Moira, just enough to help the princess escape. The princess wants to stay and fight, but her family comes first. She disappears into a sloping tunnel, moving fast. Her path leads her into a room where guards are gambling and drinking. Without hesitation, she storms in, snatches a cup from one of them, and downs it, staring them down as they struggle to process what's happening. The first guard bold enough to grab her gets knocked out cold with the same cup. She doesn't slow down. In seconds, all 3 are down, just as her family steps into view. The king is proud. The queen looks stunned. Violet, her little sister, smiles like she expected nothing less. The princess frees them and starts leading the way to safety. But in war, staying close to the people you love can be its own weakness. Just moments into their escape, a heavy strike hits the princess's head. Everything goes dark. She wakes up disoriented. Her vision clears just in time to see her family recaptured and Lin bloodied and dragged in by Moira. Julius doesn't hide his disappointment. He taunts the princess, but she fires back with sharp words and cold defiance. He reveals his twisted plan, expecting her to resist. But to his surprise, she agrees, saying she looks forward to what comes next. Her voice drips with sarcasm as she vows to make his rule miserable. And if he dares to kill her, she promises she'll haunt him for the rest of his days. Moira grows tense under the princess's mockery, but Julius is finished with the games. He turns to the younger sister, Violet, quiet, innocent, and still just a child. Tears fall down the princess's cheeks. The king, still holding on to a shred of hope for Julius's decency, though no one knows why, thinks surely he'll draw the line here. But Julius has no such line. The princess and Lin lock eyes. No words are needed. The plan is clear. The princess charges forward, creating chaos to distract Moira and the guards. It's enough for Lin to slip in, grab Violet, and pull her away from Julius's reach. But with her hands bound, the princess can't fight. She's quickly overpowered and thrown through a high castle window into the cold river below. Unconscious, she drifts through the current. In that dark space between life and death, memories return. Lin's voice reminds her, the blade is not a fighter's greatest tool. It's the heart. A real fighter isn't shaped by combat, but by purpose. And her purpose has never been clearer. Her family is in danger. She wakes. Desperate and gasping, she finds a sharp edge, slices through her bindings, and swims to the surface. The wedding must be stopped. Back at the castle, Julius arranges a rushed ceremony. Clergymen gather. Guards spread across every hall, searching for the runaway bride. But the princess isn't done. Soaked and bleeding, she finds her way back into the tower, determined to finish what she started. Then, another threat. A huge soldier blocks her path, laughing as he approaches, likely imagining the worst. Before he can act, a massive statue crashes down onto him. Violet stands behind it, wide-eyed but fierce. The princess, reunited with Lin and her little sister, can't hide her pride. But the weight of the moment settles in. She regrets becoming a fighter. Maybe if she'd remained just a royal daughter, no one would have died. But deep down, she knows it's not her choices that made Julius a monster. Guards are still sweeping the castle, so Lin leads the princesses into a hidden storeroom, prepared for emergencies. The grand hall fills with nobles and guests, waiting for a wedding that should never happen. In the storeroom, the 3 arm themselves, swords, breastplates, and courage. Even now, there's room for a laugh as Violet asks to join the fight. The princess promises that one day she will train her properly, but not today. For now, Violet must stay hidden and stay safe. Elsewhere, Julius presses a blade to the queen's face, demanding she call Violet out. The queen refuses, even with death staring her down. Soldiers pour into the castle faster than they can be stopped. Lin discards her bow, too slow for the chaos coming, and draws a close-range double-edged sword, built for exactly this. A guard spots the princess and fires an arrow that just barely misses. It throws off their rhythm. Lin pulls pulls the princess into an alcove between stone pillars. It's narrow, barely enough to hide them, but it'll do. They regroup, gather themselves, and charge back into the fray, slicing through wave after wave of enemies. Julius, ever watchful, notices something off, a flicker of tension in Kai's corner. It's subtle, a glance, a shift in posture, but enough to raise suspicion. Trusting his instincts, he moves in. Kai, realizing he's been made, quickly slips a dagger back into Violet's hand. He gives her one final nod and silently urges her to run. Elsewhere, the princess's earlier advice rings true. Lin targets weak points, joints, and gaps in the armor. The tactic works. One enemy after another drops under their blades. But Julius isn't far behind. His instincts lead him directly to Violet's hiding spot. Without hesitation, he drags her out by the arm. She fights back, but it's no use. He orders her to kneel, then turns to the priests and demands they begin the wedding immediately. From a distance, the princess and Lin catch sight of what's happening. No more time. They share one last look, and with silent agreement, split up. Lin bolts for the grand hall. She bursts through the doors like a storm, sword drawn, launching herself into the fray. Her entrance is so sudden and fierce, it shatters the moment and draws every eye, especially Julius's. Kai now leads the others to safety while Julius finally steps into the fight, maybe to remind everyone he's still the villain at the center of it all. But Moira isn't interested in a group brawl. She breaks away and heads outside, straight for the princess, demanding a one-on-one battle. As always, Moira keeps her distance, cracking the whip like she's performing in a ring. It slices through the air with brutal precision. In the chaos, she even knocks the princess's sword away, gaining the upper hand. But the princess adapts fast. She shifts tactics, grabs hold of the whip mid-swing, and turns it back on Moira. With brutal force, she drives the whip's sharp edge into Moira's neck. Moira falls exactly the way she once tried to kill the princess, strangled by her own weapon. Her neck snapped by the same deadly cord. Inside, the king takes a desperate swing at Julius, but he's too weak. His strike barely scratches, and Julius beats him down with ease, sending him back to the queen, perhaps to explain why he didn't land a single real blow. Lin steps forward next, taking on Julius herself. She fights hard, but he's skilled. His blade finds its way into her side, and the injury draws grim stares from both Kai and the princess. With his plan unraveling, Julius decides to crown himself. He picks up the king's crown and places it on his own head like it was always meant to be there. The princess moves in, launching her own attack. But Julius overpowers her. He taunts her, mocks her, digging deep with cruel words that strike as hard as any blade. Their fight spills outside the hall. The king and the kingdom watch as the two battle alone, steel against steel, will against ego. Julius boasts about the reign he'll bring, about ruling with fear and brute force, no matter who suffers, but the princess holds her ground. She remembers Lin's training, patience and precision over pride. Julius talks too much, and that becomes his final mistake. She waits for the opening, and when it comes, she strikes clean. Her blade slices through his neck, ending his reign before it begins. His head drops. The fight is over. She picks up the crown and returns it to the king. The hall is silent for a moment, then bursts into cheers. The threat is gone, and peace is restored. Right there, the king makes a bold declaration. The princess is the rightful heir. No more waiting for a son. The future of the kingdom is hers. He turns to her, not just as a king, but as a father, and asks for forgiveness. He finally sees her for who she truly is. Their